For years, 360 cameras have evolved in steady, predictable steps, but the atmosphere surrounding the Insta360 X6 feels noticeably different. The level of anticipation building this early is unusual, especially in a category where excitement typically ramps up only after solid leaks or near-confirmed specifications appear. In this case, the conversation started much earlier, almost immediately after competitors began narrowing the gap in 360 imaging technology. That shift is important. The 360 camera market is no longer a quiet niche dominated by a single clear leader. It has become a competitive space where multiple brands are pushing innovation at a faster pace. As a result, every new release from a leading company carries more weight than before. The Insta360 X6 is entering this environment not as a routine upgrade, but as a product that is expected to defend a position that is no longer uncontested. This is why the discussion around the Insta360 X6 is not just about features or specifications. It is about direction. It is about how a market leader responds when the advantage it once had begins to shrink. The question is no longer what the camera will improve, it is what it must improve in order to stay ahead. At a foundational level, there are already several indicators suggesting that the Insta360 X6 is real and actively progressing through development. Certification databases have begun to reference new hardware identifiers, and while these listings rarely provide detailed specifications, they are often one of the earliest reliable signals that a product is nearing completion. Alongside this, industry insiders and leak sources have begun referencing the X6 more consistently, strengthening the belief that this is not speculative rumor anymore, but an upcoming release moving through its final stages. However, what makes the X6 particularly interesting is not its existence, but the direction it appears to be taking. Earlier generations of 360 cameras followed a relatively straightforward upgrade path. Each new model typically brought higher resolution, improved stabilization, better stitching, and incremental refinements in software processing. Those improvements were meaningful at the time, but they were also expected. Now, the situation has changed. Many of those core improvements have already reached a level of maturity. High-resolution 360 capture, ultra-smooth stabilization, and compact form factors are no longer breakthrough features, they are baseline expectations. This forces the Insta360 X6 into a more complex position where traditional upgrades are no longer enough to stand out. Because of that, the emerging direction of the X6 appears to focus more on refinement rather than raw specification increases. Instead of simply pushing resolution higher, attention seems to be shifting toward overall image quality improvements. This includes better dynamic range, more balanced exposure handling, and significantly improved low-light performance. These adjustments may not sound as dramatic on paper as a major resolution jump, but in real-world use, they can completely change the quality of captured footage. Another key area of discussion is frame rate performance at higher resolutions. While 360 cameras already support impressive recording modes, maintaining smooth motion at maximum resolution has always been a challenge. If the Insta360 X6 manages to improve this aspect, especially in fast action scenarios, it could significantly enhance usability for sports, travel, and action-based content creators. Higher frame rates would not only improve playback smoothness but also give editors more flexibility in post-production, particularly for slow-motion effects. Color science is also becoming a central point of attention. Previous models have offered strong visual output, but there is a growing demand from creators for deeper color flexibility. This is not just about making footage look better straight out of the camera, it is about giving professionals more control in editing workflows. As content creation becomes more advanced and cinematic, limitations in color grading can become a serious bottleneck. The expectation now is that the X6 will move closer to professional grade color depth rather than relying on more basic processing pipelines. Beyond image quality, processing intelligence is becoming one of the most discussed aspects of the next generation. Modern imaging devices are no longer judged solely by their hardware capabilities but also by how intelligently they handle data. Faster stitching, better HDR balancing, real-time exposure adjustments, and improved motion correction are all becoming standard expectations rather than premium features. This naturally leads into one of the most talked about possibilities surrounding the Insta360 X6, deeper AI integration. While AI features have existed in earlier models, the expectation now goes far beyond simple automation. The idea being discussed is a more advanced system that understands the content being captured in real time. Instead of just recording footage, the camera could potentially analyze scenes, identify subjects, highlight key moments, and even generate preliminary edits automatically. If implemented effectively, this kind of system would dramatically change the workflow for creators. It would reduce the time spent in post-production and shift more of the creative process into the capture phase itself. While this concept still feels ambitious, it is no longer unrealistic given the pace at which computational photography is evolving. Timing is another area where expectations are beginning to settle. Based on historical release cycles, Insta360 has shown a tendency to adjust launch windows over time, gradually moving toward earlier announcements in the year. This pattern has led many to believe that the Insta360 X6 could arrive sometime in early to mid-2026, with spring being a particularly likely period. If the pattern continues, April 2026 becomes a plausible target. However, a later release window in the fall cannot be ruled out, especially if development cycles extend or additional features require more refinement. Pricing expectations are also beginning to take shape, and they reflect a familiar pattern. With each new generation, there is typically a gradual increase in cost, driven by improved hardware, more advanced processing capabilities, and broader global production factors. As a result, the Insta360 X6 is widely expected to launch at a slightly higher price point than its predecessor. The increase is not expected to be extreme, but it will likely position the camera firmly in the premium category. One thing is already clear: the X6 will not arrive quietly. It will be judged closely, discussed widely, and compared aggressively. In a category that is finally heating up, this next release carries more significance than any before it.